Today marks 75 years since the Peak District became the UK's first national park. Aren't we lucky? We are so lucky to live in one of the most beautiful areas in the world. So what's your favourite bit and what's your favourite bit about it? Richard Brown's a Derbyshire lad who's a teacher by day and a games designer by night. He loves the Peak District that much. He's invented a point-and-click video game all about it. It's called Brownie's Adventures, The Final Resolution. Morning, Richard.
Good morning, Becky. You all right?
I'm really good. Now, I'm excited about this. Talk to me about this game, please. Explain what point-and-click game is.
Right. So if you're a bit old like me, back in the sort of 90s, there were a lot of these sort of puzzle adventure games. There were some Indiana Jones ones and like Monkey Island. They're quite famous. And my dad used to appear with him in like a big box and bring them back, and we'd all sit around and scratch his heads and try and figure out what was going on. So I thought I'll teach myself how to do that a few years ago. So
Amazing.
I thought obviously it makes perfect sense that we have it set in the sort of Peak District, but it's sort of cross between a fantasy world and the Peak District. So you sort of get sent to the peaks and you have to sort of go through and sort of follow this sort of comedy adventure where you have to kind of save the world. Well, both worlds, actually. That's the plan. That's the idea, anyway.
I love your brain already. This is fabulous.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time on my hands. Yeah.
Nah, mate, it's a good brain. And you know what? Like, you've not let anyone sort of say to you, no, you can't do that. You've gone and done it. And let's be honest.
It's just me, yeah. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And let's be honest. So as a kid, I grew up like Monash Way. So, Kildale, places like that, right? They were our playground. And the imagination, yeah. I lived on a farm that had a stone circle on it, below.
Oh,
so
right.
You can imagine, the imagination and the stories that you can come up with. Are any of those featured in your game?
Yeah, well, actually, funny you should mention Kildale, because me and I'm working with a sound designer called John O'Richards. We were out the other day actually with microphones recording the valley down there, like down in the next to the river. So we're sat with microphones recording some stuff to actually put in the game, so it actually has the sounds of some of those places. So there's Tideswell in there. There's Buxton. We've got Castleton in there. There's a bit of Cheedale. Some are slightly fictionalized or exaggerated a little bit for the sake of the story or the puzzles, but it's quite recognizable. So, you can sort of tell where you are,
So what does the story kind of follow then?
It's a bit of a fantasy stereotype of sort of destroying. I can't say too much, obviously, because all these millions and millions of people obviously are queuing up to play this bizarre game. But it's like destroying a magical object and stopping an evil person. It is basically the gist of it, yeah. But instead of Mount Doom, it's Kinder Scout. Brilliant.
Is any of this based on anything that's actually happened, or is it all just made up in your head?
I would hope not. No, because in the story, the Peak District has been spared from a nuclear apocalypse because for some reason convenient to the plot. So the Derbyshire's surviving really well, whereas most of the other counties have perished. But yeah, it's still going strong.
For some reason, that was always my belief. Growing up, if you lived in the Peak District, you would always be safe, to be fair. I seem to remember my mum quoting that on many occasions. We're perfectly safe, dear. No one's going to come here. It's going to be fine. What was it then that made you want it to be about Derbyshire and the Peak District?
I think probably the same as a lot of people growing up there and just being constantly taken out on dog walks. And I think as a kid, I used to moan a lot, to be honest with you.
Yes,
me and my brother chuntering it back. My dad once convinced me that there were a Premier shop at top at Mountain, and I fell for it, thinking, even as a kid, thinking, how's that possible? But just to keep you going on these walks. But then as an adult, I've got kids now, so now I'm sort of subjecting them to it. So I'm taking them out to them places just so they grow up having a lot of time outside and taking time to actually take in scenery and just enjoy. It's a beautiful park, isn't it? It's a lovely place to go. It's so funny. In rivers.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that, because me and producer Kaz were having the same conversation in that, I have to have a minute, and I do, and I say, look, we live in the most beautiful part of the world, and that's not just me saying it, it's an actual fact. People come on holiday here, we go other places, but they come here, and when you're a kid, you do take it for granted, and you do moan. I mean, I used to moan because there were no blooming buses. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't get anywhere.
Yeah.
Whereas now I take the scenic route just to say, look at that view.
Yeah. I think you wondered why people come on holiday as a kid. Like, why are you getting a caravan to come out here? And then I'm doing it. I'm getting out on bus and taking kids to go and stay in Edale or something, and because it's worth it. It's nice.
Because it's beautiful. What's your favourite bit about the Peak District?
I think probably I think actually just from family thing is probably sort of around Tideswell, Millersdale, down Cheadale, and sort of around there. A particular Angler's Rest, just that little spot there in White Peak where you've got them nice like them cliffs and vines hanging down. You feel like you're in a bit of a jungle, don't you? Yeah. And it's just different, isn't it? It's just a really nice place to go. But yeah, camping at Edale as well. That's something we always like to do. Kids will get in river, and my wife will go and have a splash. And if it's warm enough, some waterfalls down there. It's nice. We
went to Padley Gorge. I took the kids to Padley Gorge last year for the first time in ages. And again, it was just one of them of, it's taken me 10 minutes to drive here. 10 minutes, right? Look at it. Just amazing. Yeah. Richard, when's your game going to be available, darling? Because I want to be one of the first to play it, just saying.
Oh, right. Fantastic. Well, we're currently on the finishing stage. Like I said, it's just mostly me, but then we're working with a sound designer who got in touch. We become quite good friends. It's a bit of a passion project. So, we do this after our actual jobs and family commitments and stuff. So it's been nearly 2 years I've been working on this now. So hopefully but certainly before Christmas, I think, but sort of towards end of this year, I think it'll be finally done. I've just got a couple of people play testing it at the moment and just making sure it's, as good as it can be.
Amazing. Well, if you need to add extra characters, I'll endorse. It's fine. Don't worry.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, there's a few references in there. I'll stick a Becky Measures in there somewhere.
Oh, mate.
If you can survive the full 200 years. Yeah. It might not be flattering, though. I'm not the best artist, so you can't complain.
Sweetheart, you should see some of the pictures of me online. It's fine. Don't you worry about it. And they're normal. Richard, it is wonderful to chat with you. Yeah, do keep in touch with us, won't you? Because I'm really keen to follow this. And I love it when people just put their passion into something and follow it through. I think it's awesome. And thank you for celebrating the wonderful Peak District, because we do live in the most beautiful area in the world, or one of at least. Richard Brown, a Derbyshire man who loves the Peak District that much, he's invented a point-and-click game about it. What's your favourite bit? Can't rattle it down, really, can you? It's very difficult to do that. The whole thing, all of it, is just approaching 14 minutes past 7.
The sound of